What will it take to end the gruesome taxi violence in South Africa? And why are taxis still the leading cause of road accidents? Is Santaco succeeding in ensuring the taxi industry is run professionally? How much does the taxi industry contribute to the country's economy? What time is it? It's question time. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Mpho Tsedu. South Africa relies heavily on road-based transport for the movement of people and goods, this being a contributory factor to the country's high number of road accidents. During the recent launch of the 2014 festive season road safety campaign, Transport Minister Dipuo Peters announced invoking Section 50 of the National Road Traffic Act in order to ensure discipline and compliance. Founded in 2001 at the Durban National Conference, the South African National Taxi Council, Santaco, is working closely with various stakeholders to ensure that the taxi industry contributes positively and effectively towards reducing the country's road carnage. My guest today is Santaco President Philip Dybos. Dr. Dybos, welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Paul, and thank you for having Santaco here.
Okay. Now, there are so many taxi organizations and federations. Which one is Santaco? Who do you represent?
There is only one taxi federation in the country, which is Santaco. Mm-hmm. There are associations, and we've got regional structures. Okay. You know, like how your government is structured. Yes. We've got regional structures, which we've got 9 provincial taxi councils. Okay. And the only national one is Santaco.
Okay. Now, we'll talk about the accidents and the festive season operations. But I need to start at the violence. Recently, people were killed in Eguruleni around Boksburg, the Vosloorus route and all that. Also, in KZN, people were shot at a taxi rank, also recently. And, I mean, almost daily in Orange Farm a week or so ago, similar incident. What is wrong with the taxi industry?
Mpho, firstly, let me condemn in the strongest terms the violence which is taking place in the in the environment of taxis, and indicate quickly to you that since the inception of Santaco in 2001, you would remember that for the last few years until very early this year, there were no violence in the country. And the violence which took place was in the Western Cape, which was around January, February. And I'm sure you are aware of that since May month after my intervention in the Western Cape, till today, there has never been any incident of violence in the Western Cape. And you would remember that the Western Cape is not only about what we perceive as taxi violence. It's more about gangsters in the Western Cape. But I've managed to talk to different parties physically myself in the Western Cape, and I'm very happy, and I want to congratulate the Western Cape taxi operators for having taken a positive stance of saying that they are business people, not an army or violent people. Secondly, let me come to the sporadics one in the country, and I'm calling them sporadics precisely because a lot has been done in eradicating this violence in the taxi ranks. And if you look into this violence which has taken place, it's not in the taxi ranks but taxi related. I am not disputing that. And what we are saying is that we are doing a lot in ensuring that we eradicate completely violence.
What are you doing?
What we are doing, Mpho, is that we we are talking to our structures, we are talking to the leadership of the taxi industry, we are even engaged in training the taxi drivers and the taxi operators. We've got a college in Velcom.
Yes, no, I know about
which is training our operators. So I'm trying to say that a lot is being done in that particular circumstances. But what I want to put on record, and I'm not shifting the blame, it's that Santaco is not a law enforcement organ.
Yes.
What we can do, it's up to the best we can do is to talk and talk and talk. The implementation arms of the law enforcement are the ones which needs to come in and take reign over those people who doesn't want to govern. And in most cases, we are even finding ourselves in such a predicable position that we cannot identify between a legal and an illegal taxi operator, precisely because government is not able. And when I say government is not able, I'm ensuring that the organs of government which are entrusted with the issuance of the operating license is not able to issue the operating license. Hence, you cannot separate the legal operator from the illegal operator, because the only thing you will get is that I have applied, I'm waiting for my license. So I think what we've been doing in ensuring that the associations are taking control in the taxi ranks, in the environment of taxi operations, we have succeeded in that. But what we cannot do is that we cannot stand in front of an operator or a person who is wielding a gun or who is coming to the rank to cause violence. We are looking at the law enforcement agencies in doing that.
Now, Dr. Tebos, I do not understand why should somebody come into a taxi rank, like you're saying, wielding a weapon, and force people to use his vehicle. Yet there's a taxi association which is supposed to be running the affairs of that particular route, and you do not do anything about it.
Mpo, I've indicated that a lot has been done towards that.
Yes.
But you must know that we can only do as much as we can, because the rest is dependent on who is the legal person or who is the legal persona who should institute the laws, or who should institute even punishment to that. Okay. Remember that as a taxi industry, as I'm talking to you now, we are like a friendly society.
Are you sure, Dr. Tebos? I don't think a lot of people would agree with you, because I'll tell you what quickly. When you are on strike, and by you I mean the taxi industry, you expect everybody not to go to work. Once people start using alternative transport, they get beaten up, the vehicles are stoned, buses are bent down, and all that. How friendly is that?
Mpo, what I'm trying to say and what I'm trying to put forward is that, and I'm not going to use an excuse of the era in which we come from.
Yes.
But I'm just indicating that for the taxi industry since 2001, for what we have achieved up to this far, I think we should be complimented instead of being criticized.
Okay.
And I'm trying to say that we are not, how can I put it? We are not a regulatory body. That's why I'm using the term friendly. We are not a regulatory body, which means we cannot enforce regulations at any taxi rank in South Africa. That is left in the hands of government.
Hold the thought there. When we return, we'll talk about the festive season, what you're going to be doing, and perhaps look at Santaco's history and what your other achievements could be. I'll give you some time to boast there. This is Question Time. Please don't go away.
SABC, sharing 20 years of inspiration. Since its inception, the city of Durban has sent a group of designers on an internship program in Milan, the fashion capital of the world. The origins of belly dancing are unclear, but its history in Egypt goes back to the 18th and 19th centuries, where dancers were known as wawazi. Inala's original music is composed and performed by Ladysmith Black Mambazo, the multiple Grammy Award-winning South African isicathamiya group led by Joseph Shabalala and Ella Spira. Inala blends the rhythms and harmonies of native musical roots with live percussion, piano and strings.
Join Musam Khalipi on Afro Showbiz every Saturday at 19:30 CAT. Zoom into Africa. This is Egypt. The president is Mr. Abdel Fattah Said al-Sisi. Egypt got independent from United Kingdom on 28 February 1922. The population is more than 83 million people. One of the major languages spoken is Arabic. Monetary unit is Egyptian pound.
Arrested in connection with the murder of Senzo Meyiwa is planning to take legal action against the police minister.
Mbata appeared in the Boksburg Magistrates Court after being in police custody for 10 days.
He says police have ruined his life.
I'm afraid for my life.
His family have conflicting emotions and saddened that he was arrested in the first place.
And now their case seems to be in tatters, perhaps underlining the severe pressure they were under to produce a suspect. But what now for the police?
Primetime News, daily at 6 p.m. on SABC News.
SABC, sharing 20 years of inspiration.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. My guest today is Santaco President Ntate Philip Taibosh. Now, Ntate Philip, now it's festive season. The minister says she's going to invoke Section 50 of the National Road Traffic Act, which empowers officials to deal harshly with the operators, right? Motor vehicle and drivers who do not comply with the provision of the said act, which includes, inter alia, the suspension of the operators, impoundment, resisting of the vehicles, and the arrest of the drivers and operators. I suspect there's going to be some collision here with the taxi operators.
Why should there be a collision?
Well, you have never wanted to be arrested. Whenever the police or law enforcement agencies arrest you, you toy, you block the freeway, you say
are you still trapped in 1995 era?
No, I'm trapped in 2014.
I want to help you if you are trapped in 2014 so that you understand what's taking place in 2014.
Okay.
And that what has been taking place.
Yeah.
Firstly, let me indicate that we, as the taxi industry in South Africa, and particularly Santaco, as the governing body of the taxi industry, we want to support the call which has been made by the minister,
okay,
and also the invoking of the Road Traffic Act, in the sense that it is not, nobody has been permitted to go onto our roads in the country and drive as he wishes and do as he wishes. There are laws which are governing our roads and they need to be respected.
Yes.
So as a taxi industry, we are very clear on that one, that anybody, and that's why we are not even interfering when somebody has been arrested or for transgressions which he knows that he shouldn't have done before. And what we are doing in ensuring that we are taking responsibility as the taxi industry, we have started a campaign called Hlokomela in 2009.
Yes.
And this program of Hlokomela, I'm sure you have heard the minister also speaking on it. This program of Hlokomela has brought a new sense of understanding our role in the roads as a taxi industry.
Yes.
And that is a program which has been started by the taxi industry itself.
Okay.
And we have been succeeding. If I had to put it to you, and I want also to dispute the fact that the taxis are responsible for the highest number of accidents on the road. It's a pure lie.
Okay.
It has been proven beyond reasonable doubt. since 2009, when we started with the Hlokomela campaign, and being visible on the road, visible on the taxi rank, ensuring that taxis are not going out of the taxi ranks when they are not actually in a state of healthiness. We have reduced the number of accidents. In 2009 alone, we discovered that the taxis were responsible for 9% of the accidents. I don't know where that's the highest number of accidents come from.
Okay.
And in our participation with our Hlokomela program, jointly with the program of the Department of Transport, the Arrive Alive, we realized that in 2010, 2011, 2012, it has been a reduction on when it comes to the accidents of the taxis, to an extent where I'm talking to you now, we are under 3% of the being responsible for the accident. But we are saying even 8% is too much.
Okay.
We should be standing at zero as a taxi industry, because we are transporting the people who are going to make a living for their children, and the people who should be transported in a safe way.
There's a lot of non-compliance, though, from within the taxi industry. The department has said that they need each and every passenger in each and every vehicle to be to buckle up. Actually, that is not happening in the taxi.
Yeah, Mpo, again, what we are doing, and I think we should be given a chance to prove ourselves whether we can bring about change. Remember that we are talking about changing the mindset of people, and here we are not talking only about changing the mindset of a driver. We are talking about changing the mindset of the passenger in the vehicle himself, him or herself. Because all these passengers, and it's not because of their doing. The previous vehicles in the taxi industry didn't have the safety belts and all those things.
Yes.
And even the majority of the vehicles presently, with the taxi recap having brought a lot of improvement, you're still having vehicles which are compliant but which doesn't have the safety belts, because at that time of those vehicles, the law was not there which compelled taxis to have safety belts. But what we can do now is to continue educating our taxi passengers to understand the value of buckling up. And that's what we are going to do, and that's what the champions of Hlokomela are doing in the taxi ranks, in ensuring that passengers understand the value of buckling up.
Yeah, but I think, yes, indeed, credit must be given where it's due. The same, though, to be much focus on long-distance taxi operators, because at those taxi ranks, that's where Hlokomela is really effective. You know, not just any other scrap can leave the taxi rank saying it's going to Mkanduli from Johannesburg. You know, there's real checks, but domestically, I think that's where the problem is as well.
Mpo, I think what we are doing, we are gradually implementing the, take care yourself. What we can say that before you even do anything, you must take care of yourself. And by doing that, you will then be taking responsibility that you are not getting into a vehicle which is not supposed to be ferrying people.
Okay.
And what we are going to have now, we are going to have jointly with the RTMC, the Road Traffic Management, we are going to have jointly an operation where we are going to physically check in our local taxi ranks the healthiness of a vehicle before it leaves the taxi rank. And I want to believe that with time, we will be able to implement a number of changes which will be appreciated by our commuters, which will be appreciated by other road users. Remember that.
I want to take a quick break. When we return, we'll also talk about this airline that is being spoken of. Whether indeed you are on board.
Thank you.
This is Question Time. Please don't go away.
This SABC, sharing 20 years of inspiration.
21 Icons is a unique visual journey of some of South Africa's greatest citizens.
When I wake up in the morning, I've got a challenge.
You succeeded in getting me to do something which is absolutely against my nature.
If I do something, I do something properly.
In celebration to 20 years of democracy, the newly released book 21 Icons offers exclusive access to a remarkable spread of South African legends.
It tells their personal stories and unique portraits that reflect our country and, above all, its people.
That's Kaleidoscope, Sundays, 5:30 p.m. on SABC News.
SABC, sharing 20 years of inspiration.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. My guest today, Dr. Philip Daibosh, who is the president of Santaco. Dr. Daibosh, how do you make sure that the taxi industry is professionally run? You know, people don't just rely on this Aitlekadi City, you know, 250 and 470s, you know, and all that. That people think beyond the 25 rand, you know, to think of it as an industry that is playing a role in the economy of the country.
Paul, thank you for asking this question. One of the mandates which was given to the leadership of Santaco in the inception conference of Santaco was the economic emancipation of the industry itself. And what we've been doing, we've been working for the last 15 years on a program, and it was not very easy because this program was meeting all sorts of challenges. And whether people like it or not, it's the economy or the decision around the economy of this country still rests with the powerhouses, which are mainly white. What we've been doing, we've been putting a plan forward, which comes with the easiness, making it easy for the passenger to get into a taxi without taking money out, because that has been a problem, and that has been a cause of a lot of accidents on our road. I'm meeting with the minister next week, where we are going to put forward, because we have arrived at that, where we're going to put forward the plans of how we are going to curb that. But the way of curbing that is to come up with a ticketing system within the taxi industry. And well, I must indicate your traditional banks in South Africa have done everything possible as far as their plans are concerned to stop the taxi industry from coming up with a ticketing system belonging to the taxi industry. And I want to thank the government of South Africa for having given us the privilege and the right to say that as a taxi industry, you must work out and you must ensure that you implement the system in our vehicles. So we are coming with a ticketing system where the passenger will be able even to budget for his trips on a monthly basis.
Okay. The tax recapitalization process, how far is it? Has it helped the industry?
The tax recapitalization program is still in working. We are still dealing with issues around the tax recapitalization program. But firstly, before even I criticize it, let me also again thank the government that, you know, by introducing this program, they have brought a lot of easiness to the taxi operator for being able to purchase a vehicle. While my criticism will be that a government has reneged on its responsibilities of ensuring that the main cause why government and the taxi industry agreed upon the taxi recapitalization process, it was around the issue of safety and around the issue of affordability. And that particular question of affordability, that's why I'm saying government has reneged.
What do you mean by affordability? Because I've noticed that, I mean, there's still a lot of skorokoros on the road.
I'm coming to you. I'm coming to you, and you'll understand what I mean about affordability.
Yes.
When we agreed with government around the issue of introducing the recapitalization program, discussing those issues, a taxi vehicle was 147,000 rand at that time.
Yes.
And we were talking about affordability. And when the taxi recapitalization program was introduced, already a taxi at that particular time was costing 2 times that. It was about 275 as I'm
we
talking
live
to
in a capitalist
doesn't matter when we live in a capitalist world. We should be able, government should be able to regulate the prices.
Yes.
You understand? For the people of this country to be able to use transport and to be able to afford it.
Okay.
So the part which I say government has reneged from is that the government has left us with the banks and the car manufacturing companies deciding alone on the price of a vehicle.
Okay.
And that's the part which I say the taxi recapitalization program has not been that effective. But we believe with the continuous discussion, and I must compliment the new minister, Medipo Peters, because when she came in, the first thing she decided to look at was the taxi recapitalization program, and she said we need to sit down, the industry and government, and re-look at the taxi recapitalization. I'm very much convinced that we will come with different answers after we have engaged with the minister around this particular program.
Let's talk about the airline. Are you flying?
We are flying. We intend flying. We will continue working around it. And Sedu, I must indicate that the idea of flying was not just a thumbsuck. It was a well-thought idea.
Yes.
And we looked at many things. And I can indicate to you that we are even continuously looking at many things. We are even looking at the sea. We are looking at the sea because that space has not been utilized. But let me come to the airline. You'll remember that we have launched the airline. But what happened thereafter? We saw a lot of challenges which came, and they were so fast that you could not even begin to breathe, you know. And we had to take a reverse to say that, listen, we are not just going to jump here when we are fresh and new into this industry of airlines. So what we did, we reversed a little bit, and we are looking at all the necessary avenues in ensuring that when we are flying, it will not be a black failure. Because what you guys don't know is that if Santaco fails with this airline, it is going to be put squarely in the hands of black people that blacks have failed. So we don't want to do that. That's why we are studying why did the other airlines which were so strong failed, you know, and so that when we come back, we come very strong and we can be able to bring a sustainable transport to the people.
A quick one from you. Christmas message and a New Year.
Firstly, let me indicate that I'm calling on the best people and the most important persons in the taxi vehicle, which are the drivers. I must indicate to you that we've got very good drivers who are actually looking after our passengers, and I'm asking for the drivers to show South Africa again this year that we will reduce the accidents by 0.
Thank you very much, Dr. That was question time. Have yourself a wonderful time. Goodbye.